Most of us wander through our daily conversations like people strolling through a botanical garden. We admire the roses, compliments, we frown at the thorns, criticism, and we occasionally get stung by a bee, an argument. But we rarely stop to consider that someone else might be looking at the same garden and seeing not flowers but a pharmacopoeia. They see the plants not for their beauty, but for their chemical properties, which ones can heal, which ones can sedate, and which ones, when brewed correctly, can bend a mind to their will. This is the art and science of Dark NLP. Neuro-Linguistic Programming, in its purest form, is a user manual for the brain. It's the study of how we process the world. Neuro, how we communicate that processing through language, linguistic, and how we can change our behavior by changing those patterns, programming. Think of it as learning the source code of the human operating system. But every operating system has exploits. Every piece of code has a backdoor. Dark NLP is the practice of using those backdoors. It is the covert language of influence, the grammar of manipulation, the syntax of seduction and subjugation. It's not about asking for what you want. It's about making people want to give you what you want without ever realizing they were asked. And the truly delicious, darkly humorous part. The victim often walks away feeling smarter, more insightful, and deeply understood by the very person who just pickpocketed their reality. Let's walk through this garden at dusk. Let's look at the poisonous plants. Chapter 1. The Art of the Velvet Rope. Pacing and Leading. There is a fundamental rule in hypnosis and influence. You cannot lead someone where they do not wish to go. The trick, therefore, is to make them wish to go there. This is achieved through a process called pacing and leading. It's the conversational equivalent of a dance. Imagine you are at a boring corporate function. You are standing by the window, arms crossed, staring at the rain. Your posture screams, "Leave me alone." A salesman approaches. If he walks up and says, "Hey, let me tell you about this amazing timeshare opportunity," you will mentally throw him through the window. But a student of Dark NLP knows better. They stand next to you. They cross their own arms. They look at the rain. They pace you. They match your reality. After a moment, they sigh. Bit of a dreary day, isn't it? Makes you want to just shut the world out for a bit. Click. You glance over. This person gets it. They aren't forcing sunshine down your throat. They are in the rain with you. They have established rapport. They have mirrored your state. This is the pacing. They have joined you in your model of the world. Now for the leading. They wait another beat, then slowly uncross their arms and gesture to a nearby table with a coffee urn. "You know," they say softly, "a warm drink doesn't fix the weather, but it does make the fortress a little more comfortable. Shall we?" Because they paced you first, they validated your reality of wanting to be left alone. Your brain is now looking for congruence. They've subtly reframed getting coffee not as socializing, which you hate, but as reinforcing your fortress, which you love. You follow them. You get the coffee. You just got led out of your state by someone who pretended to live in it. The dark humor here, the master manipulator, is essentially a very polite, very patient kidnapper of your emotional state. They hold your reality hostage just long enough to convince you that moving to their location was your idea. You'll thank them for the coffee, never realizing they just picked the lock on your mood. Chapter 2. The Horns of the Dilemma, the Double Bind. The double bind is, well, a beautiful piece of linguistic jiu-jitsu. It presents this illusion of choice where, honestly, all roads lead to Rome, and Rome is conveniently whatever the influencer wants it to be. It's like the parent who doesn't ask, "Do you want to take a bath?" which, let's be honest, invites a resounding no. Instead, they ask, "Do you want to take a bath with the rubber ducky or the toy boat?" Now, the child's brain is occupied with a delightful dilemma: duck or boat? The actual question of whether to bathe has been, almost surgically, removed from the equation. In Dark NLP, this sort of thing is weaponized. The corporate jiu-jitsu. Your boss doesn't say, "Can you work late?" which, of course, would invite refusal. No, they say, "Are you going to order dinner in before we finish the project? Or do you want to grab something after we wrap up?" The assumption is set. You are staying late. The only question is the logistics of your sustenance. Now, the romantic gambit. A less scrupulous suitor doesn't ask, "Can I kiss you?" risking perhaps a rather awkward rejection. Instead, they move close, create a bit of tension, and whisper, "I can't decide if this moment feels better as a memory I'll cherish, or the start of something we'll actually live in." The target is now forced to consider the quality of the impending romantic encounter, not whether it will happen at all. Their brain is far too busy choosing between cherished memory or lived experience to even formulate the word no. The dark humor, really, lies in the absurdity of the prisoner's dilemma. The victim is given the keys to 2 cells and told they are free to choose. They celebrate their autonomy as they quite cheerfully lock themselves in. Chapter 3. The Thought Thief. The Milton Model and Artful Vagueness. Milton Erickson, the godfather of modern hypnotherapy, was an absolute master of language. He realized that in order to bypass the conscious, critical mind, the bouncer at the club of the subconscious, if you like, you have to be vague. You have to speak in a way that is so universally applicable that, well, the listener's own mind fills in all the specifics. This is the Milton model. It's the language of fortune tellers, brilliant therapists, and of course devastating manipulators. Imagine someone wants to lower your guard and make you feel an intimate connection. They don't say, "You look sad because of your job." That's a guess, and frankly it might be wrong. If it's wrong, the conscious mind rejects it. "No, I'm not sad. I'm just tired." Instead, they use the Milton model. They look deeply into your eyes and say, with profound certainty, people can sometimes feel a certain resonance, when they are sitting here in this moment, a feeling that they've known the person across from them for much longer than they actually have. And as they become aware of that feeling, they might notice a sense of comfort, a deepening sense of trust, and a curiosity about where that feeling might lead. Let's dissect the theft. People can sometimes feel, this is called lost performative. Who are people? Well, everyone. The statement is an undeniable fact about the general population, so your brain just accepts it. You are included in people. A certain resonance. What is resonance? It's a vague, subjective term. Your brain frantically searches your own experience for a feeling that matches the word resonance. You will find one because, honestly, the word is empty. You are now literally co-creating the experience with them. They might notice a sense of comfort. This is a cause and effect pattern wrapped in possibility. It links the vague situation to a specific desired emotion. By saying might, they avoid direct challenge. It's not an order, it's a suggestion you are free to accept. They haven't actually told you anything. They have simply laid out an empty linguistic frame, and your brain, desperate for coherence, has jumped into the frame and painted a masterpiece of intimacy using your own memories and hopes. They made you feel close to them by tricking you into projecting your own feelings onto them. The darkly humorous tragedy. You will leave this conversation thinking, wow, we have such a deep connection. They just understood me. In reality, you just understood yourself in their presence. They were a mirror, not a window. You fell in love with your own reflection. And, quite cleverly, they get to take the credit. Chapter 4. The Semmelweis Reflex and the Trojan Horse. Reframing. Ignaz Semmelweis was a doctor in the 19th century who discovered that if doctors washed their hands, fewer women died in childbirth. He was mocked, ostracized, and, well, eventually driven to madness by his peers who simply refused to accept that they were, in fact, killing their patients. They had what we now call the Semmelweis reflex, the reflexive rejection of new information that challenges established norms. Dark NLP understands this reflex. You can't just smash down the gates of a person's belief system with a battering ram of truth. It only makes them reinforce the walls. You have to use a Trojan horse. Reframing is the art of putting an idea inside a container that the target already finds acceptable. Example, the lazy employee. You've got an employee who's constantly daydreaming, just staring out the window. Now, a bad manager sees laziness and punishes it. But a dark NLP practitioner, they see potential and, well, they reframe it, so they pull the employee aside. I've noticed you spend a lot of time looking out the window. That tells me you have a highly developed internal landscape. You're not just staring, you're processing. You're the kind of person who needs to visualize outcomes before executing them. I need that. So for the next project, I want you to spend the first hour of your day doing exactly that, visualizing. Then I want a report on what you saw. The employee, previously bored, is now validated. They've been given a purpose that actually aligns with their natural inclination. They weren't lazy, they were just a visual processor whose value hadn't been unlocked. And, well, they become fiercely loyal to the manager who finally understood them. The dark humor, the manager just took a behavior that was previously a liability and weaponized it into productivity. The employee is still staring out the window. Nothing has changed except the story around it. They are now working harder at staring than they ever did at their actual job, all because a master of language put a new label on the same old jar. Chapter 5. The Ultimate Joke. The Illusion of Choice. If dark NLP has a punchline, it is this. Human beings will fight to the death for the right to make up their own minds, but they rarely notice when someone else has supplied the options. The true power of covert influence isn't in barking orders, it's in planting seeds, it's in using language so smoothly, so empathically, that the other person experiences your suggestion as their own epiphany. You don't tell them to buy the car, you ask them, I wonder what it would feel like to see this in your driveway every morning. Their brain supplies the feeling, it's their feeling. Now they want the car for themselves. You don't tell them they should trust you, you pace their reality. It's smart to be cautious. With all the fake people out there, you have to protect yourself. I'm the same way. That's why I appreciate how direct you are. You've just framed trust and openness as a sign of intelligence and made yourself the recipient of that intelligence. Chapter 6. The Cathedral of Certainty, Presuppositions. If language is a building, most people live in the studio apartments. They say what they mean, and they mean what they say. It's functional but sparse. Dark NLP, however, builds cathedrals. It constructs sentences so vast and ornate that you forget to look at the foundation. And in that foundation are the presuppositions, the unspoken, assumed truths that the sentence rests upon. If you accept the sentence, you must, by logical necessity, accept the foundation. You don't even know you've agreed to it. It's the conversational equivalent of fine print written in invisible ink. Consider the question, why is your productivity always so inconsistent? Let's look at the foundation for a moment. What must be true for that question to make sense? First, your productivity is inconsistent. That's now a fact. Second, it has been inconsistent for quite a while, hence always. Third, you are responsible for this inconsistency. That's what your implies. And fourth, you owe me an explanation for it, hence why. So you find yourself in a defensive crouch, searching your memory for examples of your inconsistency, trying to explain why it happens. With every excuse you generate, you're actually validating the premise. See, the question wasn't really a question, it was a conviction, just dressed up as an interrogative. It just planted a flag right in your identity. The dark NLP practitioner doesn't ask if, they ask how and why. They don't ask, do you want to be more confident? That just invites a maybe or an I don't know. Instead, they ask, what will it feel like when you finally unleash the confidence that's been waiting inside you? Now, the presuppositions in this rather beautiful trap are as follows. You will be confident. It's a when, not an if. The confidence is already inside you. It's not something you have to acquire. It's something to unleash. It's yours already. You'd be a bit foolish to leave it locked up, wouldn't you? And unleashing it will feel good. Because what will it feel like? Assumes a positive sensation. Your brain now has a job. To imagine the feeling of confidence. This is no longer a debate. It's a creative visualization exercise. You're literally rehearsing the feeling of being confident, all because someone built their sentence on a foundation you never thought to inspect. The dark humor here is what I call the invisible tax. The practitioner is taxing your reality, taking a small percentage of your agency with every presupposition, and you never see the deduction on your mental bank statement. Instead, you just feel richer, more capable, more understood. You actually end up happily paying the tax of your own autonomy.